Welcome back to the channel. Today, a rant. I'm a crazy guy. That's why I didn't fix my hair. I want me to look a little bit crazy here. It's going to be a rant, but it's going to be a well thought out rant. There's a lot of analysis here. And it's going to be directed at the entire industry, but I'm going to talk specifically about one company. And that company is Native Instruments. This is a company that I've praised in many of my episodes. I said how Komplete is one of the best values out there. You can buy the standard version or anything above that and get the full version of Contact, which is required for a lot of mainstream libraries. Plus, you also get a lot of their cool libraries. One thing about Native Instruments is they don't have any of those full-blown big libraries like orchestral libraries or choir libraries. What they have is a lot of bibs and bobs. And I find that works for me because it fills in a lot of holes that I have in my other libraries. So I've said some good things about Native Instruments here. I think Komplete is a really good value. Right now, I think Komplete 15 is about $1,200, a little under that, maybe $11.99, okay? And that's a good value. But I'm going to talk about the upgrade path in a minute, and it's not a good value. One thing that I've seen happening in the industry, and I think Native Instruments is very guilty of this, is derivative sample content. What NI will do is they will pull some samples from one of their little string libraries, pull some samples from their piano library, pull something from their electric pianos library, and then pull something from their guitar libraries. They'll create a new interface, give it a cool name, allow you to put 4 different waves in, and allow you to mix them in interesting ways. They've done a lot of that. Far light, stray light, schema dark. There's so many of them. And now what happens is you see a lot of this derivative content in their Komplete collection. And I think it's a disservice to the consumers and the end users because what they're charging for upgrades just don't seem to be worth it. Okay, I'm going to go over to the computer now and I'm going to show you some screen stuff and show you what the cost would be for me to upgrade and what I would be getting that is new. Be back in a moment. Okay, here we are on the Native Instruments page. That's the most important page for me as far as if I want to upgrade my version of Komplete. I have Komplete 13 Collector's Edition. It says to upgrade from 14, it's going to cost about $400, all except for 80 cents. Now, the updating price here is $399, so I'm thinking that's probably what it's going to cost for me. This page here shows me what's new for me. So let's take a look at this content and evaluate it. I get Action Woodwinds. That's probably a newly sampled library. I get Valves Pro, warm and mellow brass tones with an expanded range of articulations. I don't know if that's new or not. Fables, weave stories through sound with immersive cinematic ensemble library for scoring and production. That sounds like derivative content to me. Vocal Colors sounds like derivative content. Guitar Rig, I'm guessing this is the new version. Probably the old version was 6 and this is 7. You know, one of the funny lines from Tron 2, which was not the best Tron movie, Tron 1 is in my top 10, was when Alan asked, you know, what's new in our new OS? And I think the head person says, we put an 8 on the box, where last time it had a 7. So basically they didn't upgrade anything, and really there's not much to write home about in here. Kithara, they give them cool names. This looks like more derivative content where they took probably some of their guitars and mangled them, put them in a blender and gave you an interface. Alicia Keys Electric, this looks new. Schema Light, Schema Dark, these all look like derivative content to me. Acoustic Sunburst, this looks like a new sample content here. Phoenix, Session Ukulele, Ireland, and electric keys. These all look like probably new content, but you know, these aren't particularly big libraries, and for me, they're not stuff that I don't already have. How many electric pianos do I need? And I can tell you, I have far too many as it is. Conflux sounds like another derivative sample library. Session bassist, upright bass. This does look interesting. That looks new. Icon bass looks new. Phoenix. Okay. Now, this is supposed to show me what's new for me. There are lots of duplicates in here, and you might think that you're getting 51 new things, but if you go through and eliminate the duplicates, it's even less. So we have Phoenix here, we have Noct, which looks like more derivative content, Utopia, more derivative content, Brazilian Artist Expansion, I don't know, that might be new. Glaze 2, this looks like derivative content, but there might be something new in there. Now, there's always a lot of expansions, and it allows them to add lots more squares to this page and make you think there's a lot of great stuff, but you know, there really isn't. There's homage there, an homage here. I think I saw bouquet here, drum state here, drum state here. I mean, come on, you've got to at least get your page correct. Show me what's new. Am I getting 2 copies of these? Because really I don't need to. I'm not upgrading anyway. So there's just a bunch of derivative content. Now, what it's telling me up here is I'm saving $799. I'm saving $799.80 by spending $400 to buy these and upgrade them as a package. But quite honestly, the only thing I would even consider getting from here is maybe the acoustic sunburst, the ukulele, because I don't have a ton of that material, and maybe the upright bass. I'm not going to buy Ireland. That's probably penny whistles and Hardanger fiddles, and I just already got that in a really good library from East West, and it was only $249 for the entire library, which gave me strings, brass, woodwinds, all this ethnic type material, and vocals on top of that. Here they want $400, and most of this stuff, in fact, if you go down to a certain point here, I think everything below this is just crap. It's expansions, it's derivative content, and a ton of this stuff. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. These are all derivative content. Now, Native Instruments can contact me and tell me I'm wrong, and they never use derivative content and everything is sampled brand new. If they want to do that and put it in a statement and send it to me in an email, I will put it in this episode and I will pin it to the top. You know, I understand why companies are doing this. I can't even imagine what it costs to go out and record a full-blown choir or a full-blown orchestra. When Spitfire Audio did BBC Symphonic Orchestra, how much did that cost? You got to hire all the musicians, you have to hire the space, you've got to have all the text there, all the equipment, there's setup time when you don't even have the musicians there. That probably takes days, not just one day. And then you have to tear all that stuff down. You have to make sure you get every single take you need and mark it off your sheet so that later on you're not going, oh my God, we didn't get Sul Tasto in this particular range or something, because that would just be a nightmare. How much does a session like that cost? I don't know. If anybody knows, please put it in here. I'd love to know how much it cost Spitfire Audio to record BBC Symphonic Orchestra. I'm thinking like $1 million. But I mean, I could be totally wrong. It could be $500,000. It could be $5 million. But it's got to be a lot of money. Not only that, is you've got to put all this money up front and then hope the product is a success. The product may not be a success. Luckily, I think BBC Symphonic Orchestra was a success. But you're putting in probably 9 months of editing and time, and then you finally do a launch. And then you just got to hope that you can sell it and recoup your money. I don't see any self-respecting sample company, the big ones, East West, Spitfire, Vienna. I wouldn't say Native Instruments because they don't do big sample libraries like choirs and orchestral libraries. But I don't think any of the other names that I mentioned are going to do another orchestra. Maybe they will, but I doubt it. Recently, East West did the Fantasy library, and I think that was probably kind of a little bit of a niche, and it wasn't really the kind of outlay that you would have to make for a full-blown orchestral library. But still, it must have been very expensive. So I hope they made all their money back on that because it's a good library. For me, what happened is I have the collector's edition 13. I told you that. I looked at 14 when it came out, and obviously there were less instruments than this in 14 because this includes stuff that's in 15 too. And I thought, I'm not going to upgrade. And back then, I could upgrade. Usually they'd have it on a half-price sale for $199 or $249, and I wasn't going to do it. There was too much derivative content, nothing that I found compelling. And now it's $400, and when 15 came out, I was blown away by the fact that there was nothing compelling, nothing that made me want to run out and just buy it because it was so good, and now it had some compelling content. At this point, I'm starting to get a little bit worried. 16 is going to come out, and it's going to have new derivative content. I mean, they come up with some cute names, Vocal Colors, Fables. You know, we got Schema Light, Schema Dark. We've had Stray Light, Far Light, and there's some other cool names. Why not Electric Toothpaste? I'm giving them that for free. Create one called Electric Toothpaste. I think that's a great name for one of your libraries of derivative crap. Anyway, I'm not upgrading to 15. I wouldn't advise anybody to do it unless things in here are compelling to you. And there's nothing in here compelling to me. It's going to be interesting when 16 comes along and 17 and 18. And if I don't hear from Native Instruments, maybe when 16 comes out, I'll just pin a comment to the top of this about what I think of 16 and whether I upgrade it or not. And 17 and 18, because really, this is just getting ridiculous. Not a lot of new, compelling content. Just a bunch of derivative crap. Let me hand you back to the other Jeff, and he can close out the episode. So there you have it. It's a crazy cycle that's going on here. Quite honestly, I just don't like it. I don't know when I'll ever be able to upgrade my version of Komplete. Are they going to have anything that's compelling in 16, 17, 18? And how much is it going to cost me to upgrade? If it's $400, just no way. I can buy a whole library for that, a well-sampled, brand new content library. I'm not paying $400 for a bunch of derivative crap that just is not going to help me. You know, you can say that there's all these additional instruments and expansions and look how much you get and how much it would cost if you had to buy all this stuff individually and see what a great deal it is just by upgrading. It's not. There's no value to me spending $400 to get maybe one or two instruments that if I bought individually would be cheaper than $400. I'm just not going to do it. Anyway, that's my rant on this. If you disagree with me, absolutely. Tell me in the comments. Tell me how wrong I am. Just give me some good reasons of why. If you're Native Instruments and you want to tell me that I'm wrong, that you never use derivative content, everything that you do is brand new sampled content, you know how to get hold of me. My personal email address is available in YouTube. You can email me and tell me I'm wrong. And I will print whatever you send to me, and I will pin it to the top of this episode. but truly I think are using a ton of derivative content. And I think it's disingenuous to throw all of these in and tell the user that they're getting all this stuff when it's just a bunch of recycled crap with very few new instruments. That's enough for this rant. Thanks for taking the time to watch this episode. I'll be back in another episode soon. Thanks for watching.